for people who have destructive patterns, it often takes a traumatizing event or near traumatizing event to wake them up out of that hypnotic rhythm. I guess a routine could be something similar. A routine is a type of hypnotic rhythm, but hypnotic rhythm, when I say hypnotic rhythm, this is a series of routines that forms a habit. So if you've ever read Outwitting the Devil, you would understand that this concept. If you haven't, read Outwitting the Devil. It is a necessary book. Every person should be reading it. I don't know why more people haven't. I don't know why it's not required reading it at 8th grade, but it's a book you need to read. The second way is through the what Steve Porges calls, who is the psychological researcher who came up with the polyvagal theory. What he calls the absolute focused attention from an attending person wanting to see to your emotional needs, or what he just calls attending. That's the second way. The third way is through some kind of mentor or some kind of opportunity that will create that wake up. And then the fourth one, it could only be 3. I could have been overselling it, but those are the 3 that I know of. The fourth, hey, it's probably out there. I just haven't thought of it right now. So without one of those stimuli, you keep on doing what you've always done because it's what you know. If you don't have something that's going to wake you up or something that helps you become aware, the fourth one is comparison. The comparative nature of something that is better than what you have, where you're forced to compare to what you do have, and either see the disparity or want to ignore because it's what you don't have. Now, if it's something you can get access to easily, this creates a much better way of being able to, again, take you out of the hypnotic rhythm and reevaluate, go into meta-analysis or meta-awareness. Without the meta-awareness, you can't possibly change the way that you are going. This is a fact. This has been demonstrated time and time and time again. If you go on a certain path and you have created a certain way of behaving, it creates kind of a rut, and you kind of go down the path of least resistance because it's easy. If you have a chance of being able to interrupt that pattern and evaluate where you are versus where you want to be, you see the disparity, and you're able to reliably and repeatedly make changes so that you change the rut and it goes in a different direction, you have an opportunity of being able to change your thought patterns and also your behaviors. I'm going to yield the mic. I feel like I've been jabbering.
I just want to make a quick comparison. For imprinting, one of the best ways that you can remember it is kind of like with a bird, how people say like, oh, don't handle a bird when it's a baby because you'll imprint on it. Basically, that means that if you handle the bird and you basically raise the bird yourself, it's never going to actually learn how to be a bird. And so if you tried to release it, it would die because it wouldn't know what to do. It would just kind of expect things to be fed to it and stuff like that. So that's kind of in a very small scale way what's happening to people is they're being raised a certain way, and so when they're thrust out into the world, they don't have anything to orient them, or some people don't have things to orient them because they've never been guided, and so they don't know what to do. And so those are the people that are most vulnerable to joining those types of groups because they don't have anything to orient them. And so it's easy to pull them in and say, hey, we'll orient it for you.
I'm gonna give a caveat to that. I believe that you are correct in most instances, except the analogy the analogy of the baby bird. I almost aspirated my water. So
That
The
bad.
analogy. Okay, I think we're back. The analogy of the baby bird is very good. The only difference is if you, as the person who is caring for that baby bird, understands the nature of birds, and you raise that bird with that nature in mind, forcing it into a a behavior that is more in line with its bird nature, then you do the job that you are supposed to do. But, and here's a big but, I cannot lie. It's one of those things where you have to have the emotional regulation and the emotional discipline. Mel got it. You have to have the emotional awareness to be willing to not smother or not care for or not rescue it, thinking that it cannot live without you. And one of my favorite poems is by Khalil Gibran called, or his prose, I guess, called The Prophet. And in The Prophet, there's this one section that says, speak to me about children. And he goes on to say that your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of light longing for themselves. They come through you, but are not of you, are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You can house their bodies, but not their thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can, um, you can give them your love, but not your souls. For their souls, you can house their. Sorry, you can give them your love, but not your thoughts. They have their own thoughts. You can house their bodies, but not their souls. For their souls live in the place of tomorrow, where you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You can strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. And parents don't understand this. For whatever reason, they've been taught to believe you're my child. You do what I say. I own you. You don't own shit. These children are being robbed of their autonomy. And unless we go on to remind our children that you are responsible for developing your life, I can give you the tools you need to succeed, but you have your own mind. You have your own way of being. All that I can do is be your steward for a time. But you have, once that time is up, you have to make your own choices. They do. Absolutely, they do.